Lori here. Hi, I'm back. It is December 26th. So I wound up doing like a 48-hour reading vlog yesterday. I was able to roll like the past 2 days for um, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day before Christmas Eve. So it was probably like a little bit more than 48 hours. But I wound up finishing 2 Christmassy reads and starting another one. And then I kind of took last night off and I watched a bunch of movies that I've been putting off. I watched We Are All Heroes on Netflix, which I found was super cute. And that's a movie I would definitely play for my kids in school, actually, because I think it has a good talk about teamwork and working together, which is a unit we're sort of heading into. I also watched Spies in Disguise with Tom Holland and what's his name? Will Smith. It was very, very cute. I really, really like that. And then I watched Dr. Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr. about early this year, I think. It says it came out in 2020. I don't remember it coming out in 2020, but that doesn't mean it didn't come out in 2020. And then I started watching Soul, which I didn't get a chance to finish because I watched that one super late. So that's my TV watching or movie watching I did yesterday. But definitely today I want to focus more on reading because I didn't do that all day yesterday. So I started The Christmas Stories by Tom Fletcher and I got about 43 pages into it. I'm probably going to read this throughout the morning when I'm going to yoga. It's so cold here, but I'm going to go to town. So this is the one I want to read. And then if I can finish these other two by Monday, I would be really happy. The other book on that TBR I gave you in my last reading vlog that you guys will see is Good Girl, Bad Blood and The Girl in the Witch's Garden. I'm probably going to prioritize this one first because it's a little bit shorter. And if I have to put this book off until my next reading vlog, which I'm going to read some sequels, not the end of the world. But this ideally is my weekend TBR. What I'm going to do today is I just got an Owl Crate box that I want to go unbox. And I want to start a new Skillshare class. And then I'm going to come home, go to eat, play some Animal Crossing. And then I'm just going to kind of dive in and read. I watched quite a few videos before, as you know, I'm in the middle of trying to catch up stuff before the end of the year. So my Netflix queue, let me see what will tell me. I still have a lot. I still have a lot of them left. But I have about 117 videos left, which if I can get it down to 100, I'd be really, really happy. So yeah, I'm gonna go unbox my Owl Crate. And I'm going to go do some organizing and stuff, and then I'm going to go to yoga, and I'll see you guys when I come back. Bye. Sorry, here, I'm back. It's about 12:10. I just got home from running my errands. I went to yoga. I did actually wind up making a little bit of listening progress on The Lost Book of the White by Cassie Clare, which is the audiobook I'm trying to finish before the end of the year. This book just puts a smile on my face. All the gang's back together. Magnus, Alec, Clary, Simon, Jace, and all them. And it's set after Simon's book, so after Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, but before the newest trilogy. So it's kind of in an interim, and this is a period I've always wanted. I wanted to see Simon and them battling together, and I'm just happy that we finally got it in a book. I have about 5 hours left of that. I also did start reading The Christmas Stories. I don't think I really talked about what this book was about because I shouldn't have time. But this book is about a young boy named Willem Trundle. He asks for a dinosaur for Christmas. And through a luck of various events, I guess Santa's going to bring him one. And I'm only about 60 pages in. It's really, really cute, though. It's a perfect Christmas read, and I hope to tackle the majority of this today. So, because I'm trying to get better at playing Animal Crossing, like every day, I'm going to go play Animal Crossing and watch a little bit more of Soul, the Pixar movie that I'm in the middle of watching. And then I'm just going to kind of dive into the Christmas Stories and kind of read it. I didn't really wind up reading for the majority of the day yesterday, but I want to read for a majority of the day today. And then in the evening, I'll probably do another movie marathon and catch up on some of the movies I didn't get to see this year. There are quite a few I just didn't get to see, which you'd be surprised because with COVID, you'd think I would be home and watching a lot of movies, but I actually just watched a lot of TV shows, so I'm trying to go back and fix that because there's quite a few I haven't seen. But I'm gonna go play Animal Crossing for a little bit, watch a little bit more of Soul, and I'll check in with you guys when I start reading The Christmas Stories again. Bye. Laura here. Sorry, I'm back. I did want to play a little bit of Animal Crossing. I watched a little bit of Soul, but I feel like that's a movie I really need to be focused on, so I'm probably gonna watch the rest of that in the evening. But I did wind up getting up to page 66 in the Christmasaurus. I'm definitely going to tackle a little bit more, a lot more. But this is just such a fun read. There's a lot of different point of views because you have like an omniscient narrator who's kind of telling you the story, and then you're in the head of the Christmasaurus. I have a thing about animals being in the head of like main character animals. That's why I tend to crave Middlegrade, because they're just so fun, lighthearted. It's talking about belief and believing in yourself, and you just have just fun characters. So now I'm gonna go read a little bit more, and when I get up to page 100, I'll probably update you guys. Again, this is a book that I feel like I'll probably like fly through. I'm also watching Reagan's reading vlog about The Burning God, which is a very intense, according to her, adult fantasy series that I have on my TBR. I actually got the copyright because I met RF Kwong the last time I was at BookCon a couple years back. So I actually have it, so I might try to dive into it. But again, that is a battle-themed book, and that's like my least favorite fantasy novel trope, that is. But again, it's on my agenda to possibly try to read in 2021. But I'm going to go read a little bit more of the Christmasaurus, and when I get up to page about 100, I'll probably update you guys again. Bye. Checking back in, I did wind up getting underneath the covers because it is quite cold here, I'll say that. But I did wind up getting up to page 108 in the Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. I will say this book does deal a lot with bullying, and I will admit that scene was a little bit hard to read for someone that works with young kids in middle school. This scene seems super realistic, so I'm sure it will kind of be very, very impactful. There was also disability rap for the young boy, William. He's in a wheelchair, and I love that. I love that there's rap. The scene for bullying was hard even for me to read, but, you know, it takes me back to when I was bullied or when my students were bullied. But I just like it. It's just such a great read. And he's wishing for a dinosaur for Christmas because he loves dinosaurs. And right now, William is dealing with a lot because he's being teased not only by this girl, but also by everyone in his school. And she really, like, you know, like when you find someone that just pushes your buttons the wrong way, that's what she's doing to him, and it's a little bit hard. But so the book is basically you follow William in some points, you follow Santa in some elements, and then you follow the Christmasaur in some points. So I'm just going to read about 50 more pages, and then I will give you guys another update. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Just checking back in. It's about 2 o'clock. I did wind up grading up to page 156 in the Christmasaurus. This book is just so fun. So basically now Santa is trying to fulfill William's wish, but it has upset the real Christmasaurus very, very dramatically. So the Christmasaurus is going on an adventure with Santa that Santa did not originally plan to take him on. So it's just fun. I just love, like, it's so fun to see other writers craft the Santa myth and how the Santa myth is developed. I saw it in How the Girl Saved Christmas, which is Tinsel's story. I really like that world building. I also saw it in this one. There was another Christmas story I read it later that also had it like built. I've been watching a lot of Christmas movies too, but I just think it's so interesting to see how someone can create the Santa myth that we all know and love, but really make it seem so dramatically different. So I'm really liking it. I also love the representation of, you know, what's his name? William Trundle. Like, he really is going through a lot in this story, like with bullying and what the relationship with his friends at school, being in a wheelchair, just a lot of stuff. Not even the wheelchair, just like a lot of stuff is happening. And I'm really curious how this story ends. There's supposed to be a villain in here eventually. I wonder how that comes into play. But I'm going to go read a little bit more. I'll probably give you guys an update when I read about 50 more pages. And I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Here, just checking back in. It's about 2:52. I did wind up reading up to page 208 in the Christmasaurus. It's definitely humanizing a lot of the characters in this story. We're still getting a lot of point of views. The Christmasaurus is definitely going on an adventure, and he is taking William with him on his adventure. I just think it's such a fun story. I really do. I'm curious. Like, I always closely pay attention to the parents' roles in Middlegrade, because most of the time the parents don't have a role in Middlegrade. Parents don't often have a role in YA either. So I always pay close attention to the parental roles. And at the start of this book, his dad had a pretty big role in the story. But I'm curious, now that the adventure has kind of kicked, what's going to happen. Also, the villain was introduced, and I thought the villain, who's a hunter, who is now determined to capture the Christmasaurus, was a really welcome addition to this story. And he even had a background. I just love the actual narrator voice in this, because it reminds me of like watching a play or having him kind of like give you information, and he does it in such like a seamless way for little kids that I think they would not even think that they're being lectured at, which I like. It's a really, really great read. So I'm going to read another 50 pages and then I will update you guys again. I did add a bunch of videos to my TBR because, my watch list, because I forgot a couple, especially my Bookmas ones, because so many people are doing Bookmas and I just neglected their videos. So I added a couple. So now I have like 124, but I brought that down to like 100 before, so I just added 20. I'll get them done. My goal is to have it done before New Year's Eve to watch them all, which means I just have a lot of reading time. So I'm going to go read a bunch more of the Christmasaurus, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. I'm back. I keep switching my position because my wrist keeps bothering me, but I did wind up making a bit more progress on the Christmasaurus. Now I'm on page 250. I also realized this book had a sequel, and I wish I would have known that because I probably would have read them back to back, but I'm probably going to have to wait till next year to read it. So yeah, but I really am liking it. I think it's just very, very fun. Again, sometimes the believability of middle grade books when the parent relationships I have to like take my head out of it a little bit. I sometimes find it's easier if they're in like a fantasy world because then the parents aren't present, but just sometimes that bothers me. But again, it's fantastical. It's fun. I like that they're finding ways to communicate with each other. I like that it's a pure adventure. I like that it's setting. I like that some of his problems at the start of this book are starting to get resolved just by the presence of the Christmasaurus and what is happening. And it's great. So again, I'm going to read about 50 more pages. This book is not, I have like about, let's see, I'm on page 250 and this book ends at, oh, there's like other stuff in here, like two. So I have like about 100 pages left in this, which I definitely think I can finish today. But yeah, so I'm going to go make some more reading progress. And when I read about 50 more pages, I'll definitely update you guys. Bye. Right here, I'm back. It's about 4:30. I did wind up getting up to page 303 in the Christmasaurus, which means I have about 50 pages left. This book is so charming. Like, it's such a charming read. I think it deals with so many hard topics. I love the magic system that was developed for this read. I like that we have different point of view characters because I think it really expands the world. It's just charming. Like, so charming. I really like the main character. I love the disability rep. I've said this before. I think books other than contemporary books need to have more disability rep, especially in YA and in middle grade, because you often see disability rep in contemporary novels and you never see it anywhere else. And I think that that's a little bit limiting because those people exist in the world and they should be able to see themselves in stories. So I like that Tom Fletcher has disability rep in this story for William, but also, in a magic story, it's so easy to just say, oh, well, you're not going to be sick anymore. Like, you're not going to have that issue anymore. You're not going to have to be in a wheelchair anymore. And I just liked how it really created a system where it made sense to the audience and to the little kids. I really am liking this book. I'm so bummed I didn't know about the sequel because I probably literally would have just bought it and read it straight through. But I'm going to take a little bit of a reading break. I'm going to go get some dinner. I'm watching a couple of my YouTube videos. But what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to finish this book. And this is my last Christmassy themed read that I was going to read this year. And I think what I'm going to do is normally I split my TBR, like my wrap up, into two parts. And I think I'm going to do that again, but I'm actually going to post this video today. Because I have like 6 Christmassy reads that I read, and I want to just kind of wrap them up so that when I do my other wrap up later in like the end of the week, I will have fewer books to chat about and I have a little bit of time. I also have to do my Instagram photos for the end of the month. I have to do a couple of like little errandy things that I didn't get a chance to do, and then I'm probably going to start my next read. So, I'm going to take a little bit of a reading break, go get some dinner, come back, probably finish Christmasaurus, and then I will kind of update you guys on it. So, talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey, Slurry here, I'm back. So, I did wind up finishing The Christmasaurus by Tom Fletcher. I really like this book. I thought it was So cute, so charming. Definitely a book that you could totally add to your holiday reads and read it on Christmas Day. It's about like a 24-hour read, I would say, set for most of the book. There's a little bit of prep stuff, so it's like a year and a half technically, but most of it takes place over one night, and you follow this young boy named William as he has an adventure with his dinosaur Christmasaurus. And it's just cute. I really liked it. Definitely want to check out the sequel. I thought the illustrations were really, really well done. Um, Black and white illustrations, but I found it to be a super fun read. So, as I said, I'm gonna go kind of film my Christmassy reads of the month so I can get that done, and then I'm probably gonna do my Instagram photos, maybe take a shower, and then I'm gonna dive into my next read, which I will choose by the time I'm doing all this little stuff. I'm also gonna watch some of my non-bookish related content, but I have 7 books to wrap up. So I think that will be a pretty good haul so that I can like have a shorter haul because the end of the week is going to be me filming a lot more for Bookmas because I have 3 more books I really want to read before I do my wrap up because the other books I don't think will make my top reads of the year, and I mean, at this point they can't be on my disappointing books of the year. But I want to finish like 3 books before I do those filming days because they're books that very possibly could make my top reads of the year. Um, so yeah, um, yeah, there's like 4 books I would like to read, but I think it's probably only going to be 2. But we'll see. So I'm going to go do my plans for wrapping up the year, get my Christmas clothes on because I'm still technically filming Bookmas, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Sorry, hair, just checking back in. I did want to filming that video. I wound up doing my Instagram posts. I'm just starting to kind of think about what is going to be my game plan for the next like week. I've said this in a couple of other places. I did reach my goal of reading 200 books in a year, which is monumental to me. Like, I've been wanting to do that for such a long time. I think since I started Goodreads. But now I'm just kind of realistically thinking, like, what do I want to try to read before the end of 2020? I have four books that I'm going to I'm just trying to think like how I'm going to do this because eventually I'm going to have to start filming my end of the year lists, and I might run out of days which would be very, very unfortunate. So yeah, I have to film those books by January 6th. So I gave myself a little bit of time, but I think I can probably do it like this week, probably. But I'm also sort of thinking about, I'm in the middle of Bookmas, so I'm just trying to think about like after Bookmas is over, I still want to post 2 times a week. So obviously reading vlogs will probably be one of those, but I just have so many ideas for content because I've been watching Bookmas from like other people and I've been inspired to do a lot of videos. So I'm just trying to think of like what it's gonna look like after Bookmas. I also added a few features or videos to my blog, like I do what's my favorites every month, like entertainment stuff. So I'm just trying to think about like what do I want to do after Bookmas is over. So yeah, I might take a couple of minutes and just kind of write out some goal plans for not just for January, but like in general. So I have like a plan in place. Yeah, so this is sort of like a weird update, but I'm just gonna try to plan out like what are the couple of videos I want to do to start the year that just didn't fit into Bookmas. So yeah, I'm gonna go think about that, and then I'm gonna probably choose my next read too. So I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Guys, I'm back. I'm still importing my other video, so I might take me a little bit while to get back to reading. But I did wind up planning about 12 videos and like 12 reading vlog ideas to just start me off for the year. Honestly, I don't know what 2021 is going to bring. I don't know if it's going to be sort of like what it's been this year, if it's going to be drastically different. But I just kind of looked at some of my favorite booktubers that have some cool video ideas and I borrowed them. So I also came up with some of my own that like I'm just waiting to see if there's any like New Year tags that come out because there's normally one that pops. But I also just came up with some reading vlog ideas. I said this in like another video. I'm going to do some more themed reading vlogs just because it kind of gives me more of like a content to talk about, especially be considering like I'm not really going anywhere and doing anything. I'm not even going to the city, so I don't have like adventure vlogs really. Like I used to like take you guys with me when I went to BEA. I used to take you guys with me when I went to New York City Comic Con. So I don't really know what this year is going to look like, but I am definitely going to be reading, which is good. So I have like a lot of different ideas in my planner, and I just hope to kind of like start checking them off. I do, I'm going to do the typical ones. I'm going to do wrap-ups. I'm going to do TBRs. I'm going to do my favorites. I'm going to unbox my Owl Crate boxes that I always do. So I'm going to have some favorites, and then I'm probably going to vlog like every week. Until like I go back to school, and then even then it's probably being more like every week. But yeah, so that was just kind of what I wanted to say, that I kind of have figured that part out. I kind of came up with a bunch of videos to start, and just to kind of have them all down, because I always come up with really good idea for vlogs and then I don't like write them so that they never get done. But I feel like I have a pretty good idea to kind of start with. But yeah, I'm gonna go make sure that my stuff is importing, and then kind of schedule that video to go up tomorrow. You guys will see that long before this reading vlog goes up, but sorry for the chatting. I will get back to reading. I just had to get this stuff done. So, talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Sorry, here I'm back. So I have officially finished almost all of my holiday themed reads that I wanted to read this year, which is pretty impressive. So I'm going to pick up The Girl in the Witch's Garden by Erin Bowman. This is a retelling, I think, of The Secret Garden. I started this book like a couple of weeks ago, and then I like wound up putting it down, but it's about this girl named, oh, what's her name? Let's see if it says it. Piper, and she winds up going to live with her mom and her grandma, and I think she learns that her mom is like fostering these kids, but she didn't even like want custody of her. And I remember I read the first chapter and I was intrigued. It's also not that long. It's like not even 300 pages. So it's almost 7 o'clock. So what I think I'm going to do is I still have a lot of YouTube videos to watch. But I have got it down less to where I started. So now I have like, let me look. Because I have been like slowly making my way through them. But I have like 116 left to watch, and I actually have to add a bunch more because I've been putting, but at least 116. There's a couple I still have to add and such, and I feel like there's some doubles on there as well that I just like added recently. But I am gonna try to read for another like hour and a half, probably maybe like 2 hours, and then I'm probably gonna go finish watching Soul. And I might actually try to watch Mulan tonight, because that's the one movie that I haven't seen that has been on my list. But I definitely have to finish Soul, because I'm like an hour and a half into it. And then, yeah, I think I also wanted to watch another movie, but I think I'm going to focus on Soul, Mulan, and maybe rewatch Into the Woods, because it's been a while since I've seen that, and that just went on Netflix. It's been a while since I watched movies, so again, just trying to even out my life. And then next week I'll probably go back to watching like TV shows, because I have a few I want to finish before the end of the year. But alright, so I'm gonna go start this, make some progress on my TBR queue, on my Netflix queue, on my YouTube queue, sorry. And I will update you guys when I read about like 30 pages in this, because that's probably like where I was. I think I stopped reading about 30 pages, so I'll kind of read that, and I'll kind of give you guys a full summary, but that's what I remember. So, talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hi guys, Lori here. I'm back. It's about 8 o'clock, and I just wanted to do a quick update. I did wind up getting up to page 36 of chapter 5 in Girl in the Witch's Garden. This is a little bit past where I stopped. I must have stopped reading it like 2 chapters, But it basically follows a girl named Piper, and she is going to live with her mom. She hasn't seen it in about 7 years, and because her dad has cancer, so there is a lot of talk about cancer in this book. We'll tell you right off the bat, her dad's pretty sick with cancer. So she goes to live with her mom that she hasn't seen in about 7 years at a really creepy house. But when she gets there, she gets the unexpected shock that her mother, who really had never had any interest in being a mother to her, she was more interested in like her research and stuff like that, has decided to foster 3 to 4 children. And the kids reveal some talents that they have that they think that she has as well. Um, and she just had a really weird interaction with her mother. And also the grandmother's missing. So there's a lot happening in this book. But I've read a few like creepy books about houses recently. I read The Inheritance Game. So I'm gonna try to read till at least a page 100 before I go watch Soul. I'm also watching some reading vlogs. I'm finally on Jess Peace Loves Books, her reading vlog for the Christmas romances she read. And if I love any, I'll probably add them to my TBR for next year. But I'm gonna go back to reading this. She tends to read a lot more romance than I do, but I do like her Regency romance picks. So I'm gonna go read a little bit more of this, and I'll update you guys when I read probably the page like 100. Bye guys. Alright, here, just checking back in. It is 8:46. I did wind up getting up to page 57, but I did wind up reading quite a bit today with my other read. But I'm intrigued enough. Like, basically, it follows this girl. There's a garden. Her mother is horrible to her. Like, I just met her mother, and I am immediately turned off. Immediately, like, I'm just hopeful that like she turns around, and because right now she's really horrible, not only to her but also to the other kids. But there is something that all the kids are hunting for, in hopes that if they find this, then they will get adopted. And now it's been revealed that this thing might actually help her sick father, which I'm sure is going to add to Piper's excitement to find it. Also, Piper is another character name that I love because that character was in the Mortal Instruments series. So quite a few character names that are just reminding me of other series. But I have to admit, Secret Garden was one of my favorite movies going forward. So I am definitely going to keep reading this tomorrow. It's not that long. So I think what my goal is to finish this book tomorrow, because it's not that long, and then start my next reading vlog, which I'll talk about it then. But I will update you guys tomorrow. My plans for tomorrow are still a little bit like in the weeds, but I think tomorrow we'll like flesh it out a little bit more. But I am going to go finish watching Soul and then possibly watch Mulan and Into the Woods. I don't know if I'm going to get to watch all 3, but I'm definitely going to finish watching Soul, and I'll update you guys tomorrow. Bye. Right here, just checking back in. It is 9:05. I just woke up. I spent last night. I finished watching Soul, which I definitely think was the most interesting Pixar movie I've ever seen. So if you have not seen Soul, highly recommend it. I also started watching Into the Woods. I got about an hour and a half into it. I'll probably finish watching that tonight. That came out a couple of years ago, and I never like rewatched it. So, and then I'm definitely gonna watch Mulan tonight. There's a bunch of movies I just have not seen, like Mary Poppins, Mulan, the New Mutants movie. So, I want to make that a priority this weekend. But I do definitely want to get some reading done today. As I said in a previous clip, I'm trying to figure out what I want to read for the end of the year. I'm still on page 55 of my book. I'm also gonna go shopping with my mom today. We're gonna go shopping. I got some Christmas money that I would like to buy some stuff with. So I've been talking a lot about bullet journaling and journaling for the next year. So I've been watching a couple of Skillshare classes about journaling, and I don't think bullet journaling is the place for me because I already have so many organizational systems, like for my blog. Like I use my Owl Crate planner to plan for like my weekly to-do lists, and then I use this planner to plan for my like daily, I make like, I do my workout stuff here. So I might also have my full spread calendar. So I'm really just looking for like a journal and kind of like, just like a weekly wrap up in my thoughts. So I'm going to finish, but I am going to use this one. This is one I got a couple years ago from somebody. which is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer themed journal. And I think I'm just going to kind of use this as a starting point, and I'll probably watch a couple of more Skillshare classes before the start of the year and just kind of start with this. But I know I do want to do something. I journaled when I went to London a couple of years ago, and I really liked that experience. I actually still have that journal. But that's what I'm going to try to do for 2021 as well. But I just don't think bullet journaling is the place for me to be right now, especially because I'm also going to do a gratitude journal with Owl Crate, but this is like a 3-year plan, so I'm going to write 3 things that I'm grateful for every single day, which will be a challenge, but an interesting challenge for sure. So yeah, I feel like I just have a lot of things to work on and to focus on, so I'm just trying to limit it. But I'm going to go get ready to go to yoga, and I'll check in with you guys when I come back. Hopefully, by the time I come back, I will have read a bit more of Girl in the Witch's Garden and listened to a little bit more of my audiobook. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. It's Laura here, I'm back. It's about 1 o'clock. I did wind up going shopping with my mom. I bought a few things. Typically, I always do like some after Christmas shopping, and I take my money and I go buy some things. So I did that. I didn't get to go everywhere that I wanted, but we're still in the middle of a pandemic, so I've been trying to be a little bit safe. I did get to Starbucks. I made a little bit of planning for my bullet journal, not a lot. I have to go to one more store on tomorrow or during the week, and I'll probably get a little bit more bullet journaling stuff that I want to prepare for my god, the end of the year is coming so quick. So it's still sort of a nice day out, so I'm gonna chance a bike ride. I made a little bit of reading progress on Girl in the Witch's Garden, and I made a little bit of listening progress to The Lost Book of the Wait, but not enough to update you guys on, so I'm gonna go try for a bike ride, go like 2 times around the block, and then I'll come back, and then I'll check in with you guys after I read a little bit more. But I did do my Skillshare class for my bullet journaling. I watched a few more lessons. I am going to I'm gonna go read for a little bit, go for a bike ride, and then I will talk to you guys again. Bye. Right here, I'm sure you could see my like pink cheeks. I just went for a bike ride. I definitely didn't do as long as I normally do because it is cold, but I was trying to sneak in a bike ride, and I was sort of successful. But I'm gonna dive back into Girl in the Witch's Garden. I did listen to a little bit more of The Lost Book of the Wait by Cassie Clare and Wesley Chu. I'm right to the climax. I think I have like 3 hours left. Really intrigued by that story, like overall. So I'm gonna read a little bit more of this book. Probably get up to like the next like 2 chapters. I'll probably get up to chapter 10, and then I'm just gonna update you guys super quick. Because I read a little bit more during before yoga, but I didn't like read enough to like kind of give you guys my opinions. But I am really intrigued by it. So I'm gonna go read, and then I'll update you guys when I have a little bit more to say. Here, just checking back in. It's about 2:45, and when I'm getting up to page 86, which is chapter 10 in The Girl in the Witch's Garden. It is definitely getting more interesting. So the girl named Piper is starting to realize she may not be as normal as she's expecting when she encounters some kids that are living in her mother's house that have affinities. And there is this house and this place she went to be with her mom appears to be very run down and appears to be very, very like not exciting. But when you look at it in a different way, you see that it's actually a beautiful garden, and there is a location in this house, a secret garden, that in this secret garden is hidden an elixir, and if you take this elixir, then you're basically immortal. Now, honestly, that has some really big implications for Piper because her dad is really, really sick with cancer, so you can see why she wants that. And then she learns that a young boy has gone missing in the secret garden, and when she gets access to the secret garden, she finds that secret boy. Her mom is very, very creepy. We haven't seen the grandma yet. The grandma's on an adventure, which makes me think she's not on an adventure. But yeah, I'm really intrigued. I love the movie The Secret Garden back in the day, so I'm just going to keep reading. I'm going to try to get up to page 100, and then I'll check in with you guys. I still have a bunch of YouTube videos. I have about 117 left, but I'm going to try to read to like 1:30, and then I'll give you guys another update. But right now, I really don't like the mom. I feel like she's going to be the dangerous situation to this. But I do like all the kids. I have such a soft spot for books about orphans. That's just one of my tropes. I like books about orphans, so there's a lot of them in here. So I'm just going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Again, it's about 3:40. I did end up getting to page 120, which this book definitely took a dramatic twist, like about 20 past pages when I read. But basically, she has found her way into the garden, and now it kind of turned a little bit Percy Jackson. I love when books offer like a rhyme or like a riddle or like a poem, because it's never what you think it is. Like, I know in the Percy Jackson series, and even there was a moment, I think in the first Harry Potter book, that there was like a poem that they had to like solve. So and I love books when the kids have to like potentially conquer their own fears or conquer their own nightmares, because I think you really learn a lot about them. Those are like my favorite TV show episodes. Like, they had a TV episode of that in Buffy. They had a TV episode like that in Teen Wolf. They had a TV episode of that in like Runaways, I think. And a couple of shows, they always have kind of like a nightmare episode. So I'm curious if that is going to kind of be the way. I will say right off the bat, I feel a lot more connected to these characters than I did to the ones when I read Winterborn House by Ellie Carter earlier in the year. I like that book. I just didn't feel super connected to the characters. And it's sort of a little bit similar. I mean, there is a magical house. That one was definitely Batman meets Annie. This is definitely more Secret Garden, but I definitely feel more connected to these characters. There is a lot of mystery, and there's probably going to be an unexpected twist towards the end about one of the characters. But I'm intrigued, so I'm going to keep reading, and I'll read until page like 150, and then I'll give you guys another update. So talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Over here, it's 4:39. I am on page 150 in this book. I will admit, it has been a very long time since I've had a villain or like a character that just rubs me the wrong way. And this mother in this book, she is horrible. Like, she like makes me so mad. Like, it's not good. It's not good. And you can really feel for the kids in this book, other than her daughter Piper, because these kids are basically being fostered by her because she thinks that the only way she can get this elixir is if they find it, because they have magical powers. They all have different magical powers. Piper's uncovering her possible affinity. I don't want to give away if she has one or not. But Jesus heavens, her mother is horrid. Like, it like makes me want to like throw my book across the room. I feel like I'm reading about Umbridge from Harry Potter, and that's another villain that really got under my skin. Like, she's just so mean. And there's still the mystery about what happened to the grandmother, and then there's a little boy that's trapped in the garden that is because of this mother. I really don't like this mother, like, at all, and I really am curious, but like, she's so mean. So I don't know if there's like more to it, but she's just very, very cruel to all the kids. Not also Piper, but like the other kids are really hurtful because all they want is like a family, and they're working so hard to give her this antidote or this elixir so she could adopt them. But it's just not that great. It is very focused on Piper. I do like the dynamics of the relationship she has with the other kids. It's a little bit more fleshed out. The garden's super cool, but that mother, really good, well-crafted villain. I will say that, because I really immediately don't like her, and I'm curious like what happens to her, because right now she's not of a good character. I'll say that. So, I mean, she's a good character to read, but I would not want her to be anyone near my life. So I'm gonna head back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. I'm just checking back in. It's about 6 o'clock. I did wind up getting up to page basically 200 in The Girl in the Witch's Garden. I'm intrigued enough to keep reading. I don't think it's like my favorite, but I will say that it does deal with a lot of grief elements. I do like the gang in this. Like, I think that they were all pretty much developed. I do like the fun house. The mom character, there has to be more to her, and right now I just hope it like fleshes itself out. I'm curious like how this story ends. I'll probably give you two more updates, one when I get to like 250 and one when I get to the end, and then we will chat about my overall thoughts. But I'm liking it. It's definitely a fast-paced read. It doesn't have a lot of time for development, I'll say that, But that's what happens with standalone novels, especially ones that are this short. Like this book is not even, let's see, this book's not even 300 pages. So I think when you have shorter books like this, they, first of all, they're really, really quick to read. But number two, they don't allow a lot of development for like the characters or the world building and the mystery. This is really a mystery, and sometimes the mystery has a lot of red herrings and they're not enough to like solidify them. So I'm gonna keep reading. I'll update you guys when I get to about page 50, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts. So talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey friends, Laurie here. I'm just checking back in quickly. I did wind up getting up to page 237 in this read. It definitely went the way I was sort of predicting, but I'm happy that they did focus a little bit more on grief, and I was worried that it was going to do something that I didn't want it to do, but it was actually had a very interesting grief conversation towards the end of it. I still am really liking the characters. I would say this book is a very, very quick story, so the characters don't really get developed. The villain of the mother, for the moment, is still very one note to me, so I would hope that it gets fleshed out a little bit more. It's a very, very quick story. I like the environment. I like the characters. It's definitely not my favorite, but I think that's more to do with length than anything else. So I'm going to quickly go finish this, and then I'm going to quickly end this reading vlog because I don't have enough memory on my computer. So I'm going to go finish this, tackle it, and then I'm going to wrap up this reading vlog. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Guys, Laurie here. I did actually finish my read. So I did want to finish in Girl in the Winter's Witch's Garden by Erin Bowman. I really like the last, 23 pages of this book. It really definitely went in a direction I was not anticipating. I would wind up giving this book 3.75 stars. I thought it was a fun story. I'm curious to know if this is going to be a series, because if it's a series, I would probably put it more towards the 3.75 stars. But if it is a standalone book, then I would put it less, because I feel like it just kind of built the world, but it wasn't a lot of depth. Kind of comparing it to another book series that I read, which was the Allie Carter, the Winterbone series. I like this one a little bit more, just because I felt a little bit connected to the side characters than I did in that book, and I thought this book had a really interesting discussion about grief and parental death. That is a big trigger in this book, as well as a warning. But overall, I really liked it. I wound up giving it 3.5, 3.75 stars. And I would definitely consider reading more in this series, because I do like the side characters a lot. And then also in this reading vlog, I did want to finish reading The Christmas Source by Tom Fletcher, which I actually really loved. I wound up giving this one 4 stars. So yeah, this is my last reading, my last full week of reading for 2020. And I read 2 middle grade books, so I'm gonna go start my next reading vlog for you guys. So I hope you guys follow that adventure with me, because the next reading vlog is gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I have a lot of plans. We'll see if they all get accomplished. But I'll talk to you guys for that. Let me know in the comments what are some books you guys tackled on your smaller break. I'm off for another week, but that's because I'm a teacher. We have off till the new year, but some people have to go back to work. So let me know in the comments what are some books you're reading during this week, and I'll talk to you guys for my next reading vlog. Bye, guys.